If you have landed on this podcast, you may want to get fit, have great nutrition, maybe even lose weight, and generally feel better and healthier. Have I guessed right? The thing is, all the information we're fed about fitness and nutrition by the media, by the influencers, and the multitude of fitness trainers out there is most often inaccurate. Let's be real. Have you ever accomplished anything of what all those sources promised you? Unless you throw plenty of time into such programs, they won't really make any difference in your life. My assumption, and I'm pretty sure that's your experience too, is that you'll never reach what your trainer or go-to trendsetter, whatever you want to call it, says unless you become one of them. And are you going to be one of them? You know what scares me most? Once you keep trying to follow such endless instructions and end up failing repeatedly, your motivation will eventually reach a bottom, from which you may not even want to try again. Have you ever wondered how professional athletes really get to the point of being truly athletic? Obviously, it's about training many hours a day, something that we already ruled out, okay? I mean, we have careers, families, responsibilities, and honestly, a ton of other priorities, which is okay. But it's not only about that. The way how athletes structure their training is completely different. Regardless of how many hours you train, if your movements are just a bad replica of something you watch on an online video while you perform them just for the sake of doing it, they simply won't come confidently from your body. Sure, athletes are told what to do by their coaches, but those are not omnipresent. Athletes do independent training, and they learn how to do this during the years. Experiencing the flow and truly feeling the movements in your body is really about listening to it. Learning to do this not only is of much, much higher value compared to, eating the gym for having just another checked item on your to-dos list, but it also fuels your motivation, which is exactly what we need to keep moving. You may say, but I'm only interested in keeping my weight down and my health at a good level. I have no interest whatsoever in sport, and I rather do what the trainer tells me to do because it's just easy. Let me ask you this. Do you really think running on the treadmill, waiting for it to stop, will really make you healthier? It actually makes you distracted and more exposed to injuries. And overall, imbalances in your body. In short, you're not doing yourself a favor. So now, I want you to imagine waking up every day with chronic pain spreading throughout your body. Despite doctors telling you that you're structurally okay, nothing is wrong, at least from the exams. No proposed solution works for you, and you're just stuck. Amazing, right? That was my reality for over a decade, following a not even serious accident in my early 20s. No amount of physiotherapy or professional help was sufficient or helping to manage my problem. But here's the thing. Even when nothing was working, I refused to accept defeat. I immersed myself in research, experimented with countless techniques, and drew upon my own experiences to navigate what is this labyrinth of training while having a busy life. And you know what? I've been repeatedly prompted to hospitalize myself and take heavy drugs, which had serious side effects. If I hadn't decided to explore training by myself, I'm not really sure where I would be today. This is why I'm speaking to you now. The fact that I went through that experience pushed me to find solutions that were tailored to my unique needs. That was a drive that you probably and hopefully will never experience. But it's a drive you need. I'm going to be very honest with you. It's not necessarily about you following certain exercises or a specific diet. You see, research shows that whoever loses weight on a specific diet regains that lost weight within 2 years. And what you have to ask yourself as well is, are you really going to repeat those exercises in the following 20, 30, or 40 years of your life? Are you really gonna do that? Habits form with you either seeking pleasure or avoiding discomfort. I'll repeat this so it sinks in. Habits form with you either seeking pleasure or avoiding discomfort. Now, physical exercise can be discomfort at first. On the other side, drive, motivation, and routines all come from coming back to what you want to do every single day or so. In a sense, I was lucky because my drive was avoiding pain. So I was forced to move by a natural necessity. But it now became more about seeking pleasure. Over time, I got to explore my body's responses, which eventually show me the good side of never stopping to move. So now if I don't move, I actually feel like, oh, I want to seek that pleasure. Let's go moving. I want to share with you what I've learned, the strategies that worked, and the insights that can trigger you to overcome the limitations of your body and regain control of it. I'm AJR, and this is Aduthlete. So, what are we gonna talk about? In this podcast, we'll tackle the fitness and nutrition problems that every adult experiences in her or his hectic lives. For instance, how do you lose excessive weight when nobody's watching? Like when nobody's close to you and constantly involved in your nutrition, like a parent or a coach would be. How do you deal with the fact that you literally have access to any junk food you may want, and that perhaps after long and hard work days, your willpower and strength abandon you? How do you train for your body and not for the body of the bodybuilder in the picture hanging over the wall of your gym? By the way, are you overtraining yourself? You know that if you don't train every day and for several hours, some things should be off your can-do list permanently. Unless you work closely with a coach, and it has to be the right one for your specific sport and body type, which can be definitely pricey and also hard to find. Otherwise, you will be in real danger. Not joking here. See, athletes won't perform their routine or complete exercise like they need to do at a match/competition day. As Dr. Mark Bubbs said in his book Peak, it's not really about the training hours that you do, but it's the other 22 hours either spent in the office or being busy with errands or, at home and lacking enough sleep in general, while you need to abuse caffeine to keep going, that really bugs him about adult amateur athletes' health. Let me translate this to you. If you can only train 3 hours a week and you have a crazy busy life, forget about going on point, doing your 90 minutes ballet class, doing a headstand from your favorite online yoga routine, or signing up for a marathon. Okay, this last sounds very crazy. And maybe you're not that irresponsible. But even a 5K made young people I know end up throwing up in mid run and definitely not completing it. This doesn't mean you cannot excel in something or that you shouldn't aspire to. But you need to be realistic and stop following the latest trend. If you try to train for someone else's goal or body, you will fail 100%. Worse, you will get injured. You may say, I'm still young and I don't really have issues. Sorry to say this, but being young doesn't mean you're healthy. Usually, you discover underlying issues when it's somewhat too late to make effective changes. I'm astounded at how much most folks don't even feel their pain until it gets very bad and they get stuck. Then the recovery is even longer. Body awareness and hence pain perception is also something that goes unnoticed if you're not used to moving your body often. Dr. Amen works on brain health, which is of course connected to the body's health. So at the age of 37, he scanned his brain. This was after the technology became available and he started exploring and using it in his practice. So he compared his brain to the one of his very physically and socially active mother of 73 years old. As a doctor, he was shocked to see how in poor health his own brain was compared to the one of a senior person. That was because he was overworked, eating junk food way too often and drinking coffee to keep going on with that kind of lifestyle. Before, he never thought of it being an issue until he literally saw it. Now, hear this dilemma out. Always Dr. Boobs in his book Peak explains the following triage dilemma. So you can either achieve body form, health, or performance. Those are three different goals that cannot be achieved completely at the same time. But professional athletes always strive to get all three of them. But even they have to sacrifice something for the other at some point. For instance, who wants to be, super lean will eventually compromise their health. Or if you want to pivot in aesthetically driven goals, such as having a six-pack, for example, you won't get your best performance out of your body. So if this is the case for professional athletes, I wonder, we as Aduthletes should be having an even greater clarity on our goals. Aduthlete is about achieving that right headspace, mindset, and tailored habit-forming techniques that any professional athlete learns in the course of their career. Professional athletes often have an entourage of experts teaching them techniques, offering psychological support, and simply fixing them when they get injured. You have an Aduthlete to support you in your journey. So how are we going to do this? You will get a bi-weekly Aduthlete podcast release and we'll start reviewing the basics. I have a ton of exciting content to share with you, but I'll try to contain my excitement and start with the essentials you need to start your unique journey. But remember, you're not alone. Everybody has different reasons to procrastinate. You can get inspired and explore other people's drives in the Aduthletes Facebook community that I'm building. We're just getting started, so it would mean a lot if you want to lead joining the space. Also, I really want to tailor this podcast series to your needs. It makes no sense for me to keep talking without knowing what really blocks you to achieve your unique goals. What is your major roadblock to move your body? Is it time, work, and other commitments, or simply you get bored? Let me know by writing a comment or answering the poll in the Aduthletes community or on your preferred social media platform, whatever you like. I'll post the links in the description below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for being part of the Aduthletes community. That's all for today. EGR out.